Hello everyone and welcome to the 2024 Big Arm Challenge number 5. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined alongside last year's champion in Parker Welck. Parker coming back, trying to defend the title, bringing the moves even.
Yeah, I mean, really good at dancing these days. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, guys? Parker Welck back at it on the mic. Hope to bring you guys some fun here.
Looking forward to it. They stretch out Vista del Camino even longer than what we see during the Memorial or the Shelly Sharpe or any other format. And it's all about the big arms out here, but it seems to be a little more controlled this year.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great job setting everything up for us, and the tournament was actually so much more fun. There's a lot more people this year. Here we go, hole 1. I don't actually know. Oh, 435 feet. Everyone's usually just going to be doing a spike hyzer here, unless you're going up the middle as more of a safe play. But yeah, definitely a tricky starting hole.
Yeah, and they also love to give you guys a little bit of starting music. You didn't know what song was going to be selected for you.
No, I didn't pick one. And I think it hyped me up a little too much there as I throw it just straight out of bounds.
Was that just a few inches low from your intended shot otherwise?
It was about 10 feet right. Otherwise,
okay.
Just perfect. I was trying to go below everything.
Aaron Gossage, certainly bringing a big arm out to this event, as always.
Yeah, another previous champion, so he's definitely going to be looking for that top spot this year.
And joining the card, Zack Wysocki. I think this is going to be my first time filming Zack. I've been watching and filming his older brother, Ricky, of course, since he was like 16. And now we've got Zack at it.
Turn of the tides.
So you go to the drop zone, all OB shots in the water go to the drop zone, is that it?
Yes, if you don't cross over land. So the drop zone is definitely, I think, harder than the tee shot even. Not a fun place to be.
So it puts you way out here to the left side. This is a bogey look.
Squeaks it in.
Wow, not by much, but just enough to get up and in. And say it's the softest putt ever.
I mean, the water is less than 10 feet right behind the basket. You really can't afford to go at it hard.
So almost the exact same distance here for AB, but he's putting for birdie.
Pretty much the same putt. Everything looked exactly the same there.
That's got to be good feeling to get the round started. I know you're saving bogey with that, but nonetheless, a dangerous putt. And then even closer than both of you, Gossage doesn't want any part of it.
We may have called him a name or two after he did that.
That seems about right. And coming from a different angle is Zack.
Now this angle is definitely a better angle to be at, so you can hyzer out left if you do miss, as you just saw him do. So now he's got that easy tap in 3.
With Zack living out here, do you guys play some practice rounds with him, or is he kind of doing his own thing? How often are you out on the course when he is?
I see him playing definitely a lot more than I think a lot of people. He's absolutely in love with the game. He's a really cool guy as well. I personally don't play too many practice rounds with him, but I really don't play too many practice rounds with anyone. So it's always a good time to play with him, though.
See a little action already. So a couple birdies and then some pars and a bogey as we head to hole 2.
Yeah, hole 2, 602 feet. This year there is no Mandos, so you can kind of just get away with throwing wherever you want, as long as you stay in bounds. The OB is actually a lot tighter this year than last year on the left side. So we'll see how everyone gets there. And the basket is actually further back and to the right than it is in that picture, that drone flyover.
Yeah, they pushed it back a little, and I'll be the first to admit I'm all about recycling. So we're borrowing a few of last year's drone previews, and if it was too far different, then we're going to skip it. But AB just lacing one out there.
Yeah, right up the middle. To be honest, I really thought he would be going for a lot of these pins. With his distance, his roller, his air shot, he can get to a lot of these. But electing to play it safe is probably smart, knowing that he's got a stroke on everyone already. Now I think this is the more typical play that you see. It's just that hyzer out to the right, have it skip back to the center, and then you got a just nice, easy, straight shot right at the pin.
how much power are you putting into that? First of all, your throw always looks smooth and fluid, like you're barely throwing, but how much power are you using there?
Not a ton. I'm actually putting a high-speed disc there, and I'm throwing about 60%, you know, not very fast, and just letting the disc do all the work with the skip.
Speaking of skip, plenty of it for Gossage.
Great shot from out there.
These holes look relatively easy when you've got the forehand-backhand combo. I know that can be set on a lot of courses, but out here that gives you the chance to play the skip from either side and avoid the few trees that we do find.
And something else I'd like to point out is there was barely any wind throughout this event. If you look at scores from last year, they were way lower than what we'll find out this year, and wind is a huge factor.
Great approach, just inside the circle. And this looks like just routine stand and deliver here for AB. I guess I asked about playing the rounds with Zack as to if he feels any pressure coming out here. Obviously, you guys champions of the event, you know, the top players in Arizona, some of the top players in the world, and then being on the feature card with you guys, you got to wonder if he's thinking about any of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible, but he is like one of our friends, you know, he's part of the group, so I'm not sure how he feels about it, but for us, he's just one of the homies.
A good putt from you. Also, good putt here from AB just to clean up. Nice short birdie look. Once you get the clean drive off on this hole, it feels like you should be able to get to the pin from just about anywhere.
Especially because there was no Mandos. It's a pretty routine hole for, I think, just about anyone.
Gotta assume it plays as one of the easier ones. I'll see if I can pull up some stats here as we take a look and we head over to a pretty short hole 3.
Yeah, I mean, hole 3, little changes this year. They added a little OB behind the basket this year. They still have that Mando to the right, so you can't just play that hyzer over the fence. The basket, it should be in that little dirt spot right there. It is definitely not that far where we're going right now. They shortened it up so everyone's throwing chip forehand or putter backhand.
Yeah, hole 2 played as the second easiest hole on the course. Hole 3 here, the easiest hole out here. And, well, you're seeing why possibly with that easy shot by AB, just a bit much on it.
I think he was calling for it to go further. I think that's what I heard. Seems about right, Goss.
Backhand isn't, I'd say, the standard play. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, during practice, I was basically only doing backhands, and I was playing pretty good with it. So, I mean, kept it going, didn't want to change up my play.
And Zack doesn't appear to rely on forehands too much, really at all. We'll see if he has to at any point here later in the round, but so far everything's looked pretty clean. Is this quite as far as hole 1?
I think it's just about the same distance outside the circle for sure.
And just barely in.
Yeah, these raised baskets kind of get to you.
I was just going to say, were you a little more confident than what it actually looked there when it went in?
Well, definitely easier to be confident there because the backstop on the back as opposed to the water behind it on hole 1.
I can take anything for granted, even on these shorter to medium range putts. I'll mess up a potential star frame here. As I said, easiest hole on the course. No bogeys by any player in the entire division. So
wow.
even though it's that easy, you think, well, somebody's going to get a roll away.
Or
There's
a
going to be
three
something that
putt or
happens.
yeah. What the?
0 bogeys in round 1. So very impressive as we head over to the 4th.
Yeah, the 4th hole, they actually moved the pin position a little bit shorter this year, so people can maybe get away with throwing rollers here and getting the eagle. I believe it's about 520-ish feet, maybe. It's right next to that tree we just passed. We see a lot of rollers or a lot of like super safe backhand shots. And that's a common play, is rolling it right into that wall. You'll see pretty much just about anyone roll it straight in that wall. Goss selecting for that safe hyzer. And it always will put you just right in the center. And then he's got just like a 100-foot chip up to the pin.
And just as we're watching you come in, you're fast. We barely, me and my cameraman, Spicy Boy, we're talking about as you push left and just barely out of bounds. It's difficult sometimes to be zoomed back out from the previous thrower because you're already up and throwing. I, of course, have never said anything out on the course, and I don't expect you to change or want you to. But when we come in mid-throw sometimes, that's exactly why. It's just we're simply not zoomed back in position quick enough. It's not possible.
Yeah, I mean, for a course like this, as opposed to a wooded course where you like really need to think about your lines and, you know, which tree am I going to miss, or there's not much of that out here. It's kind of just, you know, you need to make sure you stay in bounds and get the angle correct, and that's about it. Aw.
The one tree you needed to
I guess
miss.
I should have taken my time on that one to think about that tree. You know, you wouldn't think that's really in the way.
Like you said, nice little easy chip up here for Gossage. There is some difficulty still to these approaches, knowing that both this hole and the next hole have the hillside. There's not a lot of elevation out here, but you still have to worry about how you're landing, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you land on too much of a hyzer, there's always that opportunity for it to, you know, jump up and roll way down the hill. So you'll see all of us kind of match the angle of the hill. Little left side for me.
It looked good. Did it feel good?
It did. Most of my putts feel good, but they don't always go in. As Zach saves par with a giant putt. If he misses that one, air balls, hits weird, he's way down the hill and potentially out of bounds.
Speaking of avoiding bogey, I misspoke. In round number 1, there were a couple of people that went over par back on hole 3. Still played as the second easiest hole on the course. So for all the fact checkers out there, as we're watching Gossage.
No.
Ugh.
We hate seeing those. That's his range, though. That's everyone kind of has their awkward range in disc golf, whether it's putting or like maybe approaches. But for Goss, it's that 10 to like 20 feet area, maybe even closer, like 7 to 15 feet. It's just sketchy.
And AB continues the perfect start, going 4 for 4. And as we'll see, the back half certainly plays more challenging than the front, but good start for AB.
As we move on to hole 5, 473 feet. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of putting compilation freakouts on this hole with, you know, maybe hitting basket and rolling OB like 4 times. But the basket's actually pushed back, but in a similar position on the hill. Definitely hard to reach on your first shot.
Feels almost like a tweener just because it's so difficult to get there. I mean, it's definitely not a par 4 in the sense that you need the 2 shots to get there, but getting there in 1 is nearly impossible, right?
It is possible. It's just so sketchy to try and, you know, get a disc to land on that hillside and stay in bounds. So you'll see a lot of people elect to kind of lay up just to that tree and pitch up there for the easy par.
More often than not, a long-range putt will be required to get the birdie. And we'll see if Gossage even wants to be aggressive.
Zack with a beautiful looking line. This is everything you want in the shot. Right behind that tree makes it easy pitch up around it.
Doesn't even make you tempted, does it? And did you pull that one?
I'm kind of just electing to throw it into that hillside. I know it's a 2-shot hole, so there's no chance for me to birdie. I'm just taking a mid-range and throw it into that hillside. Play for the next shot.
And for a hillside, I feel like this one's a little bit more grabby, if that makes sense, due to the dirt and the sand that's here.
Yeah, definitely.
More so than if it was just dead grass. That dirt really slows you down. After a 4-for-4 start, is AB thinking about this one? Looks like it, right?
I think he is. If you start 4-for-4, you got to keep going, no matter what.
Yeah, definitely running at it. That's not layup position or should I say layup preparation in the way that he was taking his time there.
Good putt by Zack after the upshot. He kind of early release maybe or too much hyzer. I'm not sure what happened there. Now, AB's thinking a little bit of trouble here. I consider this a tester putt.
Yeah, it's enough to think about, especially on a hillside.
Dead center. AB has been looking very smooth this offseason. He's probably the guy I play the most with. And he's not stopping, I'll tell you that.
And everybody else will tap in as we're through 5. And of course, big shout out to Desert Disc, along with all the incredible sponsors making this event possible as we head to hole number 6, which is impossible for me not to call it hole 17 because I'm so used to all the other layouts out here.
Yeah, different layout, different hole. But hole 6, it's a really short hole, but this year the island is tiny. And they added up a wall, so you can't really have a disc shuffle in there. You have to make sure it spikes in. And sometimes it doesn't even like to stay when it spikes in. Those rocks behind it are definitely mean.
And all I'm thinking every time we step to this hole is ace. I'm ready for it.
I think that's kind of the only option. I don't think there's a single person that plays this hole that throws forehand that isn't going for the ace.
Zone mid-range action coming out of Gossage. He doesn't like it out of his hand. It's leaking left.
Man, I wish those walls were behind the basket. It definitely stopped a lot of people.
First forehand.
Yep, I think this is definitely a forehand hole. You can't really get around it. And just a little long, creeping in the rocks.
And it's crazy because you throw that shot 100 more times and a skip may actually bring you back inbounds, or a flare or something maybe could have kicked you back in. A little bit of a flip of a coin there.
That's why we love disc golf.
Exactly. It keeps us on our toes. Zach's not able to convert.
Oh, I wanted it.
How nerve-wracking is that putt?
For me, at this point of the round, not nerve-wracking at all, just because I know I have to go for everything. It doesn't really matter if I miss or make. I need to just get strokes. So I'm just running everything from here on out.
Zach will fall back to, I was going to say even, actually.
I think he went out of bounds on the putt.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Didn't even realize
shuffled
that.
out.
So, yeah, it's going to be a double bogey. So he goes to 1 over. And with that, you're also going to join him at 1 over. Meanwhile, AB on cruise control, 5 under through 6.
All right, hole 7, 375 feet. You're going to see just everyone throwing a spike hyzer here for the most part. That's all you really need. You got to throw it with probably 400 feet of distance, though. It is kind of a little bit further than you'd think. And there's water like 10 feet to the left of the basket, so everyone's going to be aiming a little bit closer to the right side of the basket.
There's been so many variations of this hole, whether it's been 18 for some of the other events or for this event. There's just so many different ways that you've seen the basket placed and the tee pad in which you come at it.
Very good shot by Goss. He saw where AB threw it and he wanted to go a little further, so good correction there.
Pretty much textbook. Yours seems to be matching what we just saw from Gossage.
Just a little short.
Who wins a distance competition between you and Gossage?
Backhand Gossage, forehand me. And I'm pretty sure he'd say the same thing.
Zack inbounds, but not by much.
Is he running this? Oh my goodness.
Apparently.
Zack Wysocki. Goodness, dude. The water is right there.
I was going to say, maybe he has some of your mentality at this point. You know, he's kind of struggling, slow start, thinking, I need to go after everything I can. That one looked a lot like the last one, just a hair right out of your hand. Meanwhile, Barela, 6 for 7. As you said, a lack of wind out here and just a beautiful Saturday overall. Temperatures maybe a little on the chillier side if you're from Arizona. I think it's gorgeous, but temps overall pretty solid. Whoa.
I wanted to watch that back, dude. I had no idea what happened. It's just a random disc coming from my head or something.
You focus up and you're still able to pick up the par, but you're going to lose a stroke to everyone else on the card, which I know it's a relatively stock shot, but you're not expecting to lose a stroke to everyone on the card on that one, are you?
Definitely not. I'm expecting someone to lay it up at least, you know?
Barela.
And this one is a new addition this year. It's they pushed it 3 baskets back instead of just 2 baskets. So we're going to hole 4, I believe, regular, or XL layout, or maybe 3. I'm not.
Yeah, I believe it's 3 on the XL layout.
Yes.
Yeah, so we saw him roll past hole 1, and then hole 2 is underneath the pines or in between them usually, and this goes all the way out near the culvert. You can see it out there with the yellow band at the bottom, and this is a huge pull.
Yeah, I think there was way too many eagles last year going to that basket kind of where he just landed next to, so they decided to push it back, which I think is a great change. This hole is very good.
Shy of 800 feet. And what beautiful control.
Little high. There is out of bounds both left and right, so you got to make sure you're staying in the fairway. You can't just throw it wherever you want, as I'm creeping over there towards that left OB.
Yeah, so you're essentially on hole 3's tee at that point off to that left side.
Yeah, just basically playing the regular hole from there.
And at this point, Gossage has made mention of his constant coughing, and I think it's he said it's so annoying, and AB turns and says, yeah, you're right, it is.
Yeah, we're trying to find ways to stroke him for coughing, but I guess you can't.
Pretty solid recovery shot there.
Yeah. That disc that Gossage just threw is the most deformed disc I have ever seen. I don't know how he throws it.
Just plenty of use?
Yeah.
Or okay.
That's all. I mean, I was watching coverage from last year, last night, and he threw the same disc. So the same disc was in his bag last year, and it's really soft, gummy plastic. So it's been taking a beating. Wow, very impressive by Anthony hitting the pole.
Yeah, as if his putting hasn't looked good enough. Then he puts it that close,
You don't even
taking
need
all
to
the
putt.
stress
Yeah.
off the putt. Yeah, exactly. Zack will get back under par with that.
Back-to-back really good putts from Zack.
Yeah, and even the uphill hole before that, back on hole number 6, was a really solid putt. Or, excuse me, back on 5. So he's looking pretty good here. You're fighting back to even. And are you thinking at all about scores in terms of just like watching the AB and Gossage having, rounds you'd maybe expect or expect yourself to be having?
Yeah, I mean, through the front 8, I was really expecting myself to be with them around like 6 under. But just, it's disc golf. Not everyone has their days. And they were having their days. Anthony's 7 under through 8 is perfect. We call that perfect.
And then we head over to hole 9, our last one in the front.
Hole 9, 626 feet. I think you're going to see a lot of people just electing for the giant air shot rather than the roller. There has been a lot of people hitting poles or the light posts on the left side. They're very loud when you hit them, so everyone notices. But the double Mando is actually not in play here. You can just throw Spike Heiser over everything.
That pole, is that the one you're talking about that people have been?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of those are in the way. So air shot it is. There is that out of bounds to the right out there. Whoa, good dodge.
Well, I'll say if you're short enough or your throw is low enough, the T sign itself can come into play.
For real, yes, 100%. I think that's why everyone's kind of electing to just throw it over everything. Because there is a lower line, pretty much with the same shot shape, but just lower.
And Zack almost connects with the T sign.
Getting through everything, though. I think he went through 2 of the biggest trees you could possibly go through. There, didn't get it over enough. You really need to get that disc on Anheuser to get it moving right before moving left. And ended up going out of bounds there.
Not by much, and it flirts with coming back in, but that'll be OB from the left side. As you can see, DTP, yeah, you know me, brought to us by our friends at First Light. 410 left to the pin.
Did that just go straight through another tree?
I don't know what kind of magic he's got out here,
Wow.
but he parks it. It was
What a
410. He
shot.
threw it to about 405. What's your angle like from over there?
Basically nothing. I'm throwing a mid-range just at the trees, and hopefully it'll just get through or something. But it was a tough spot over there.
It still gives you a look to possibly save the par. And we'll put it out there now. This is just round 1, but you're on board for both rounds, regardless of how things go in terms of commentary. So super excited to have you here. Everybody starts projecting when we talk about commentators. So I'm putting it out there now here in the very first 9 holes that we've got Parker all weekend long.
You guys better like it.
Well, that stayed up.
Yeah, I don't think we are playing 2 meters this tournament. Otherwise, that would have been penalized.
So rare do we see a disc actually get stuck in a tree on this course.
Really, yeah.
So this is the safe par.
Yep. The putting just really wasn't there. I actually just bought that putter. Yeah, we're talking about the 2 meter.
Yeah, he's
he was
confirming.
making a joke. He said it's 2 meter, right? He knew we weren't playing it though.
So a chance to still get birdie here, but you can see where he's pinched, or at least dealing with this tree that he's thinking about. Go 8 for 9.
Come on.
Did he
Kind of surprised with how good he's been playing.
really? I mean, but going down to a knee, it's always tough. It is so tough. It changes your stroke completely.
Yep. Well, Gossage goes to 6 under with that, picking up the birdie. That's everything pretty much from the front. We're going to close out. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Leave us a comment. Let us know. Parker's even through the front 9. What is he going to get to by the end? And can he tear it up on the back? He's got a little room to make up. Let us know what you're thinking. This is the Big Arm Challenge. Thank you guys for joining us. Back 9 is coming up as we take a look. So far in the front, AB at 7 under, Gossage at 6, Kyle Creekhouse at 6, along with Max Nichols. We'll see what they can do. We'll see you in the back.